So, Elle, the last time we recorded, we spoke
Mm.
about how it's so easy to end up feeling like life's on a slippery slope, or feeling like you're running around like, what did you say? A headless
Headless
chook.
chook. Yep.
And it reminded me that quite recently, with the teaching I do, I came across this model that really lays out the key ingredients for a
Mm.
flourishing life in a simple
Okay.
but really effective way. And I wondered about sharing that with our listeners today.
Perfect. I think I'd love to hear it. Yep.
So, because it's one thing to recognize how easy it is to get lost in life. And we spoke last week about the importance of a conversation. But this model really lays out, what are the other key focus points that we can pay attention to that help to turn the dial up on feeling
Yeah.
feeling like we're flourishing,
Yeah.
rather
Okay.
than
Yeah.
the opposite.
Yeah. Running around chaotically. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So it comes from a model called the RAW model.
Sure.
So like as an umbrella to this,
Mm.
and RAW is an acronym for resilience, achievement, and well-being.
Okay.
So those are key elements to a flourishing life, having resilience and having the sense of achievement and the sense of well-being. But interestingly, those are all like quite big words, and we can
Mm.
break that down into these other ingredients that kind of feed back into that model.
Okay.
And so this comes from the world of positive psychology.
Mm-hmm.
And so positive psychology is, Dr. Seligman sort of was the key founder of this. And it's how do we help people rather than sort of to take people from a space of I'm really not doing well to being okay.
Mm.
How about focusing on taking people who feel like, I'm doing okay, but I don't really feel like I'm
Mm.
flourishing.
Mm.
And how do we take people towards flourishing?
Yeah. Right.
And so that's just, where this comes from. And he came up with this model called the PERMA model,
Mm.
which kind of feeds into that raw model. And so the ingredients, so
Mm-hmm.
PERMA is also it's an acronym with
Mm-hmm.
5 ingredients. And so the first ingredient to live with a sense of feeling like we have a sense of well-being has
Mm.
to do with a positive emotion. So
Yeah.
the P is positive emotion. And it's
Mm-hmm.
interesting because we break this down into having we need both. We need positive and
Mm.
negative emotions. And it's not about only being positive
Mm-hmm.
and always
Sweeping
being
everything
positive.
else under the carpet or ignoring it and just putting on a smile and being positive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because we know that doesn't work.
Agreed.
But it's how if we have these balancing scales and on one side we had positive emotion and on the other
Mm.
side we have negative emotion, it's which way is your scale tipping?
Yeah, okay.
And he explains if the scale's tipping more towards positive, the positive emotions are way heavier than the
Mm.
negative emotions, then we're more likely to live a flourishing life.
Yeah, right.
So that was the P.
Mm.
And within that was, this overall sense of satisfaction in life,
Mm.
which leads us to the E in the PERMA model. So the next ingredient, the first ingredient, it's positive emotion.
Yeah.
Um, balanced well against negative emotion.
Negative.
The second ingredient is a sense of engagement,
Yeah, right.
how we're engaging in life.
Mm.
So if you think about it, those moments when you feel like you're engaging, like how does that feel
Mm.
for
It's
you?
energizing.
Yeah.
I feel when I'm engaged, I feel yeah, energized. I want to be there. I come away feeling happy and good and yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. And so when we feel like we engage with something, interestingly, like, so how do we get there? How do we choose an activity that we're more likely to feel engaged in? He says is to focus on using our strengths.
Yeah.
Because when we are engaged with our strengths, it's what comes naturally, it's what comes, easiest
Mm.
to us. But also, when we're using our strengths in a way that sort of leads us into a state of flow,
Ah.
where we've, when you've been busy with something and you think, oh my gosh, 3 hours have gone. I don't know where the time's gone because I've
Yeah.
just been so absorbed in, something that's enjoyable, but it's also
Hmm.
something that I'm good at and I'm naturally
Mm.
good at, and I'm engaging in it. Yeah,
Yeah.
that gives us that sense of engagement. So that was the second ingredient.
Mm.
The third ingredient is relationships.
Mm. Okay.
When we're engaging with people and, so the engagement can be sometimes on our own, but when we're connecting with people and engaging with others, that definitely gives us a sense of life's good, I'm doing well, I'm connected.
Mm.
We know the research has shown over and over we were never created to be alone.
Yeah.
We've been made for connection.
I think one
So
of the
that's the,
Harvard outcomes over the years, I think they did an 80-year study or something about happiness, and the key factor they discovered was connection, relationship was the
yeah.
key ingredient to a happy life. So, yeah,
And
interesting.
even longevity. I've heard,
Oh,
I've seen
yes, that was it
research
too.
around, around longevity, it's relationships. So, yeah, so the ingredients so far, positive emotion that
Mm.
outweighs the negative emotion, a sense of engagement, strong relationships and
Mm.
healthy relationships.
Yeah.
And then the next ingredient was meaning, finding meaning in our day. So we can be
Right.
engaged in, be engaged in
Hmm.
activities that just, bring joy. I mean, you can be watching Netflix series and be completely engaged in the series, but potentially that doesn't necessarily give meaning.
Yes.
So there's engagement, but there's also meaning. It's a different
Hmm.
ingredient. And
Mm.
so when we are engaged in things that add meaning,
Yeah.
often that is aligned with purpose. Like, what's my
Yeah.
purpose? What's important about this? What are my
Mm.
values? And how am I adding value that goes beyond just me?
Yeah.
It's that outward focused adding value to the world around us is meaningful.
Yeah. Beautiful.
So that's the M. And then the last ingredient, the A, was a sense of accomplishment.
Okay.
And accomplishment also, we can, they all go hand in hand because we can be engaged in something meaningful that gives us a sense of
Of
accomplishment.
accomplishment. Hmm.
Yeah. But you can be engaged in something meaningful and feel like you're not getting anywhere with it.
Mm.
And it's just going backwards, or you kind of feel I'm pouring all of this into whatever and it's just not making any difference.
Hmm.
Then that also turns the dial down on, a sense of flourishing.
Yeah.
So, and I think that that ties so well into the coaching space because we talk about how, having a sense of moving forward in life and being on a journey that takes us to something that feels like
Hmm.
growth,
Hmm.
is so
Because
helpful.
what we focus on.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it grows.
Yes, I found that really, really helpful in on the one hand, acknowledging that sometimes we are on a slippery slope and we do feel like we a headless chook and life just,
Mm.
but when we're in that state and we're
Mm.
trying to figure out, okay, how do I shift gears
Yeah.
towards, back towards being true to the life that I want to live. I don't know. For me, it's helpful to
It gives you
have a list of these ingredients.
that's exactly right because it gives you a moment to go, okay, what's missing? Because when you spoke about raw at the beginning, it was resilience, achievement, and well-being. And so you can go, okay,
Yeah.
what's missing? If
Mm,
I'm feeling like I'm just running around crazy, not really getting anywhere, and I'm not living my authentic self, where do it might be resilience is lacking, or I might be not achieving. But if it's wellness, you've just listed out all of these ingredients that we can go, okay, within the wellness space, is there
mm.
any of these things missing? Or am I absolutely hitting the nail on the head in a couple and, oh, that's not doing so well. What can I do? What can I change? And so, that conversation we've had recently with the headless chook thing, this allows me to go, okay, in the well-being, what can I shift? What can I change? Hmm.
And when our well-being dial is turned up, then resilience is turned up as well. So they sort of flow into each other. And I think when there's a sense of accomplishment, there's a sense of achievement.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And
I think those ingredients, help with all those three. They help with the resilience, achievement, and the sense of well-being. It kind of flows altogether.
Agreed. And it gives us language and a way to sort of measure well-being because
Yeah.
often, well-being can be well-being. Like, what is that? And my well-being could be different. And I know I've put an outfit on before, right? And this is very superficial and whatever, but it will,
Yeah.
I think it captures. And I put an outfit on before and gone, oh, wow, that looks really great. The next day I might put the same thing on and go, oh, wow, Al, that doesn't look good. And so, well, it's very um, often well-being can be due to emotions and it can be due to
Yeah.
how we're feeling on that said day and all of those things. And that's not necessarily a true way to measure things. And so I think having this model, we can have a look at it and it factors in the big picture. It gives us a clearer
Yes.
picture of what well-being can be. And so we can look at it and then we can not judge it, but we can
We'll take
measure it.
action. We can do something, we can
Yeah.
figure out, as you said, where the gaps, what's lacking, and what
Mm,
could I do? What would I like to do that's
mm,
going to actually really shift this feeling of floundering
mm.
and, fill me up with more of a sense of actually, I've shifted gears towards flourishing more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed. 100%. I just love that you've shared that with us. And I know that it's given me something to think about
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's just, we all need help on
and
a daily basis
reminding and
and
reminding.
reminding. Yeah. And I think what I liked about this model is it takes a subject that potentially is intangible and
Mm,
gives it a bit of grounding or like a foundation to go, okay, this, I've got somewhere to go with this and I've got
yeah.
something that, is going to shift and help me.
Yeah.
So, so what I'm going to do is I've kind of drawn this out for myself because I like to see things
Your
sort of drawn out.
visual.
So I'm going to
Mm,
pop something down and that we can share in the show notes. So if you're listening to
fabulous.
this and you feel like, yeah, this makes sense, but you'd like something visual to see, then yeah,
Mm,
we'll have that there for
jump
you
on and
too.
have a look.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Kath. I love that you're going to do that for us. That's great. And thank you for sharing and teaching us today. And yeah, can't wait to have a chat again next week and share what's going on in our lives then.
Yeah,
We're
perfect.
learning
Well,
and doing.
thanks for the opportunity. I find that when I share things like this, it helps to embed them in my own brain. So I
Absolutely.
remember it more too. So thanks for the opportunity.
Yeah, no, great. Well, have a fabulous day and we'll chat again soon.
Thanks, Al. Cheers.